The false start. Imagine planting a seed, waiting 3 days, digging it up to check if it's growing, deciding the soil isn't right, moving it somewhere else, and then doing the whole thing again next Monday. That's the false start. It's the pattern of abandoning current progress to begin again. A new plan, a new system, a better version of yourself, right at the moment when the current effort would have started to compound. In Atomic Habits, James Clear identified exactly why your brain loves this. It gets all the dopamine of beginning without any of the discomfort of continuing. Clean slate, new energy, no guilt. A perfect deal for your brain. A terrible one for your progress. The myth is that starting over is a sign of self-awareness, that you're smart enough to recognize when something isn't working. But look at your own timeline. The gym membership that you restarted 4 times this year. The YouTube channel with 3 videos and a rebrand. The study method you switched before one even worked. The business plan that got scrapped after one Hormozy video made the last one feel outdated. Here's the cost no one talks about. Every restart sends you back to zero. Not zero effort, zero compound interest. And progress doesn't pay out on effort alone. It pays out on continuation. The urge to restart is almost never a signal that the plan is wrong. It's a signal that discomfort has peaked, which also happens to be the signal that results are closest. So next time you feel the pull to begin again, ask yourself one question. Am I pivoting or am I escaping? The answer is usually obvious, you just don't always want to see it. The perfectionism trap. Perfection is procrastination in a suit. You record your intro and then you re-record it again and again. Until there's no energy left. Just a very impressive folder of takes and an unpublished video. That's the perfectionism trap. It's the habit of withholding your work, ideas, or decisions until they meet an internal standard that quietly gets higher every time you get close to it. The myth is that this is about quality, that you have high standards, that you care more than most people. And honestly, that story feels great. It's very flattering. It's also completely wrong. Perfectionism is not about quality. It's about avoiding the moment when something real goes out into the world and gets judged. High standards are the cover story. The fear is the author. It's like if Peter Parker were waiting for Tony Stark to give him the iron spider suit so he can finally start shooting his web and fly into NYC. Bro, you know that doesn't work. For Spider-Man and neither for you. Look at what's sitting in your notes right now. The idea you've been refining. The video that's almost ready to post. The thing you'd have launched 6 months ago if it only needed to be good, not perfect. That book that you want to write. All the notes and drafts on different notebooks, on your computer, your iPad, and on your phone. You already have at least chapters 1, 2, and 3 written, but you have them scattered just as drafts because you're aiming for them to be perfect before you show your value to the world. As the famous slogan says, just do it. What does perfection cost? It costs you more time. It drains your energy. It tells you you aren't good enough. It costs you new opportunities, and it just kills your progress. The flip is this. As Michael Masterson says, ready, fire, aim. You launch first, and then you look into the details as you advance. Because done and in the world teaches you more in 1 week than perfect and in your head teaches you in a year. Remember, messy and consistent action beats polished intention. Every single time. The planning loop. Imagine you spend 3 months researching the best products to sell. You test different platforms. You build the perfect business plan with your friends. Design the most magnificent logo. And never actually list a single item. You were very prepared, but you made zero progress. This is the planning loop. You went into this endless cycle of planning. You did endless research. You spent hours to organize stuff. You read case studies to optimize your plan. You did it all, but you didn't execute a single thing. You made sure you were always getting ready, but never ready enough to finally start. Here's what makes it so hard to spot. Your brain doesn't know the difference, so planning feels the same as progress. Same forward energy, same sense of purpose, but the needle never moves even a tick. Bro, you can't be like, I'm gonna plan like Alfred and Batman. Even Batman messes up in his missions. He has got the best plans. Yet somehow the Joker gets one up against him. So you can't fully prepare for everything, and here's the thing about preparation. Most of real knowledge you actually need only becomes available after you start. You can't plan your way to that information. You have to move to get it. The planning loop is procrastination. It will leave you with a clean desk. It will leave you with hundreds of sticky notes. It will leave you with a full notebook, and it will leave you with absolutely nothing to show your work. The cost? The opportunity vanishes while you're still preparing for it. What to do? Set a preparation deadline. When it hits, you start executing. Preparation time is over. Not when you feel ready. Only action will make you prepare better. The comparison drain. You see your neighbor pull up in a brand new Ferrari. You see the car, the confidence, the life. Then you look at yourself. Beat up Toyota. 3 missed payments, parking ticket on the windshield. And you feel like, I'll never get there. That is the comparison drain. It's the habit of measuring your current position against someone else's current position, without accounting for the fact that you are looking at their result, not their starting point, their timeline, or the cost of everything it took to get there. Bro, stop telling yourself that watching rich people will motivate you. It motivates you for just a few seconds. After that, it produces one of two things: envy or despair, neither of which gets you anywhere. Look at what comparison actually does. You post a video, 50 views, someone else has 50,000. You don't think, they've been doing this for 4 years. You think, I'm failing. Same gym, same week. You are next to someone who's trained for years. You don't see their years. You see their result, and you use it as evidence against yourself. The cost? Your own progress becomes invisible to you, which means you quit things that were actually working. The mindset shift you need is this: you can only compare today's you with yesterday's you. It is you versus you. Last month, last year, last version. Everything else is going to drain you down. The momentum killer. So you make your first post, and it gets massive reach in the first few hours. And imagine if right at that moment someone said, "Great post, take a break." That's what some people do after their first viral hit. Not you, of course. That break kills your progress more than anything. It's called the momentum killer, the pattern of rewarding a win by stopping. This sounds healthy, this feels deserved, and this quietly destroys what you're building. Bro, you can't hit a home run and relax in an armchair. You need to carry on if you want to win. Yes, rest is important, but timing is everything. The problem is most people stop right at the point where momentum was about to do the heavy lifting for them. Believe it or not, early wins are nothing. You need persistence to get the results, but you treat those early wins like you've won a World Cup, when they're actually just proof that your direction is right. What you lose, your potential progress, that powerful momentum. Bro, you almost go back to square one, not because you failed, but because you broke your own rhythm. You put the brakes on when the light was green. What you need to do: celebrate and take a step forward. So use the energy of the win to take the next step before stopping. The sequence matters more than the rest itself. You ran your first 5K. Now use the momentum and go for 10. The self-doubt spiral. So you want to get fit, but you change your workouts every week because you don't see any results. No muscle gain, no fat loss. That's the self-doubt spiral. It's the pattern of questioning whether the goal is right, whether the approach is correct, whether this is really what you want, triggered not by genuine reflection, but by the discomfort of difficulty. And here's the thing: it doesn't feel like avoidance. It feels like wisdom. Maybe this path isn't for me. Maybe I should reconsider. Maybe I was wrong about this. You keep telling yourself maybe this isn't how it works. True. But there's a difference between changing course and creating panic out of discomfort. One is strategic. The other is an escape route that won't lead you anywhere. Look at your own pattern. Notice when the doubt pops up in your head. Is it when you pose in front of the mirror, or is it appearing when things get hard? The cost: you quit because you mistook the hard gains for no gains. What to do? When the doubt pops up in your head, ask one question before you answer it. Is this thought showing up because something genuinely needs evaluation, or because this just got uncomfortable? The answer is almost always the same. You just have to be honest enough to see it. The busy shield. You need to make a cold call to a potential client, so you rewrite your sales script. Then your email sequence. Set up your entire contact list. By the end of the day, everything is organized. But you never make the call. You remain stuck in your low-value tasks. That's the busy shield. This is a real killer of your progress, because being busy is often just how people avoid doing the one thing that would actually matter. The busy shield is the pattern of filling your day with low-value tasks, work, and effort. that conveniently never includes the one thing that would actually move the needle. Tim Ferriss makes a point in The 4-Hour Workweek of the importance of eliminating 80% of stuff that keeps you busy, but is taking you nowhere, because not all work is worthy, and your brain knows exactly which tasks are safe and which ones require you to level up. The safe ones always seem to come first, and you keep telling yourself, oh, at least I'm doing something. Look at your day. How much of your time is spent to create genuine value for your progress? Bro, you need to be honest. You're not too busy to make sales calls. You're avoiding the important thing by staying busy with everything else. The problem, the important thing never gets done, because there is always something else to do instead. The solution, the top priority calls you're not making don't belong on a to-do list. They need their own protected slot. Top priority, non-negotiable, scheduled before anything else. Or they will always lose to whatever is unimportant and loudest through your day, every single day. The validation wait. Imagine sitting on a finished video, you waiting for someone to tell you it's good enough to post. Hours of editing done, but you're still waiting, just in case. That's the validation wait. Seth Godin has written about this for years. We are trained from childhood to seek permission. Raise your hand before you speak. Wait to be called on. Get approval before you act. Cry to get your diapers changed. And most people never unlearn it. The validation wait is the habit of not moving forward until someone else confirms the direction. A mentor, a friend, a comment section, an audience that doesn't exist yet. Your brain keeps telling you, what if I'm wrong? But here's the problem with that logic. You won't know if you're wrong until you move. The result you're craving for is only available on the other side of action. No amount of external validation gives you access to it early. And there's a bigger problem. You're not really looking for information. You're looking for someone to share the responsibility for the decision so that if it goes wrong, it's not entirely on you. The cost, while you're waiting for the green light, hesitation becomes a habit, and that is a habit you want to avoid. The flip, before you seek validation next time, ask yourself honestly, am I looking for perspective or am I looking for permission? One can be very useful, the other is just unnecessary delay. The identity ceiling. Remember the last time you had to speak in public or make a presentation? You can rehearse in the mirror, record yourself, watch an infinity of TED Talks, but the moment you step on stage, it just doesn't come out right. That's called the identity ceiling. The identity ceiling is the pattern of pursuing a new goal or a bigger life while unconsciously behaving in ways consistent with the old version of yourself. Your goal is to speak like Tony Robbins or Simon Sinek, but the introvert in you won't let you. So every time you stutter and sound dull, the older you pulls you back to the familiar one. Bro, stop telling yourself you just need more reps. Yes, habits matter. Discipline matters. But both operate inside an identity. And if the identity hasn't shifted, and if you still fundamentally see yourself as someone who struggles speaking with confidence, the habits will eventually collapse back to whatever the identity supports. This is why people can have a perfect plan, genuine motivation, real effort, and still keep ending up in the same place. The plan isn't the problem. The misaligned identity is. The solution? You need to have a clear picture of that new self that you are being. You need to commit to improving the identity that you have of yourself. You see, the question isn't only, what do I need to do differently? It's, who do I need to become? That second question is the harder one. It's also the only one that actually changes everything. The near-win retreat. This is the one that hurts most because it doesn't happen at the beginning. It happens right before the breakthrough. You've been posting for months. You get 33 views, but you kept going. Then one day a video takes off. Not millions, but 10 times what you normally get. New comments, new subscribers, and then you go quiet. This is the near-win retreat. Stephen Pressfield relates to it as he speaks about the resistance, and he makes one scary observation that affects you. The resistance is always strongest when you're closest to the finish line. It's like you're out of gas just before hitting your goal. The near-win retreat is your pattern to self-interrupt at the exact moment of your peak. And it is almost never recognized as what it is. Because it doesn't feel like quitting. It feels like caution. It feels like being realistic. It feels like taking a breath. Bro, it's just your monkey brain, don't hear it. Here's the truth behind it. When things start working, the stakes get real. If you succeed now, expectations rise, pressure rises, and when you don't want to be at the top, you retreat. Not because you can't win, but because winning changes things. What and change, even the change you asked for, is something your brain is afraid of. What you need to do, treat the near win as the highest risk zone. When things start going well, that is the moment to become more focused, not more relaxed. More consistent, not less. More present, not more absent. Because the resistance is loudest exactly where the breakthrough is. 10 patterns. And here's what every single one of them has in common. On the surface, they don't look like progress killers. They look like self-awareness. They look like wisdom. They look like reasonable, justified behavior from someone who is going somewhere. That's what makes them invisible. And that's what makes naming them the most important thing you can do. Because you can't interrupt a pattern you can't see. So here's where this leaves you. Not with a list of things to fix, but with something more useful. Tools to catch yourself at the exact moment it's happening. This is awareness, and you might discover that awareness will simply improve your quality of life. This is what Growth Lab is built for. One pattern at a time, explained so you can clearly decide what to do with it. If that's something you want more of, you know where to find it.